Hello. How we doing? I see peoples. Triangles, JCS, John, Alloy, Zanny, Shade, Arvoli, Ringo. How you guys doing? I am on level 3 on the Destiny 2 Darkness Iceberg. I was just about finished with the Splinter of Darkness. Every single Cabal we fight in the Shadow Legion is a clone of Callus. I knew that they were clones, but I didn't know that they were clones of Callus. Interesting. Do you think that the Traveler leaves at the end of Final Shape? I think that it makes sense when it comes to the context of why we would leave the system. But I'm not too fussed about it. I do think, though, that if you compare it to the Traveler falling or the Traveler having, like, 50 copies, I do think that that is one that makes the most amount of sense. Although... just wanted to say, I love your videos, but I can't stay doctor's appointment. Dude, that's perfectly fine. I hope your appointment goes well, though. I hope it's nothing too serious. And, yeah, I hope it goes well, man. Hey, Max. I'm not too sure what to do. I'm going to be completely real with you guys. Because last time I started at 4, and I had the whole spiel ready to go with the Collector's Edition lore. Oh, by the way, let me know if volume levels are okay. I ask this every time. But I literally had a comment after the last stream saying, "Dude, you're so quiet, man. I can't hear you." And I said, I ask every single time. So if there's ever an issue with the volume, whether it be my mic or the balance between the mic and the whatever the gameplay or the stream is, let me know. But yeah, we've got a bit of time to kill before the Bungie stream. So if you want to talk about what we might see, or any thoughts or comments you have on some of the videos I've made recently, or you have any questions or theories, let me know. I think personally, if I had to guess, this stream is going to go a lot better than the previous one. I would hope anyway that it's not going to be 50 minutes of just the one thing. But we'll see, man. I'm scared to see what the live chat will become today. Yeah, Gabriel, that's a fair point, man. I think it will be better. I think if they start showing Luna's Howl and beloved weapons coming back, it's going to be a lot of pogs in the chat. What's the one thing that you would love to see return? I know that there's like no chance of it happening. I was actually watching Astrocross earlier, and he even said it, and I unfortunately agree with him. I want to see Pocket Infinity. And you've probably seen it, but like, on all of my videos, I have hashtag Pocket Infinity. That was the first exotic I ever got. And I love it to bits, and I want to see it come back. But if we're being realistic, what do I want to see come back? I would honestly say... I mean, as much as I like Recluse, I don't think Recluse is going to be anywhere near as broken as it was. Not just because they're probably going to like nerf it or make it hard to get that like specific perk combination or something, but I think the current level that we're at now with weapons is very strong. I actually want to see the Black Armory stuff come back, and especially with like the radiance effect on it. Max your volume so we can hear every breath, and even when you so you want this to be an ASMR stream. I see. Hey Beth. They mentioned Destiny 1. No, Elliot. So I saw this on Twitter. And they came out and they made a tweet, and they said, quick correction to the TWID, the upcoming armor set for Destiny 2 Into the Light is not inspired directly by Destiny 1 armor, but early armor concepts from year 1 of Destiny 2. So I don't think we're gonna get D1 armor, unfortunately. Yeah, true, Alloy, you just corrected it, yeah. I hope we get the old Leviathan raids back. Highly unlikely. Yeah, yeah, I don't know, dude. I do think they need to bring back all of the vaulted stuff. So the raids, destinations, activities. I'm guessing Light and Darkness merge back into one. It's hard to actually say because Light and Darkness do deal with very different sides of reality, especially since they're going down the physical and the spiritual route. Spiritual in the sense of like, you know, thought and non-physical stuff. Dude, your theory is a bit opposite of mine, being that you think the Gardener's alive, and I think the Winter was alive with the clone of the Gardener in the Traveler. My issue with that is that I don't think there's any evidence that we've had of there being a clone of the Gardener. I do think if there is a Gardener type character in the Traveler, like in the Pale Heart, then that would be the actual Gardener. You watched the unveiling video, yeah? I'm actually trying to get Pocket Infinity in D1 right now. Yeah, is it just a random drop? I had to do the exotic quest back in the day. I had to like, dude, you had to dismantle like, what was it, like 5 blue fusions. It was such a pain. And then I had to do the Nightfall with whatever the thing was, and I remember it was Winter's Lair, and I just, dude, it was a bit of a struggle, but I got it in the end. Live chat was necessarily, oh yeah, unnecessarily rude. Yes, I agree. Am I on Twitch? No, Sonia. I've thought about it, but I don't know. It's something that I really am conflicted on, whether or not I should do Twitch or not. What social space will it be? I think the majority of people are saying the D1 tower. And I think that that's the highest likelihood. If it's something different, then I'm not too sure. But yeah. You doubt Master of Arms will come back? Yeah, and if it does, I think it's going to be heavily nerfed. Yes, the banned weapons. Yep. So you've got Red Death. You have... I mean, it kind of has to be, because people talk about, like, Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten, but they weren't... Like, that's kind of getting a bit meta with it, since they were, like, Sunset. But, yeah, I think Red Death. The only issue then, and maybe it's not an issue, but I was rewatching the Final Shape showcase, and Bungie did say that Red Death was going to be the weapon on the season track, or whatever, you know, whatever the thing is for Final Shape. So that would mean that they removed it from the Final Shape and they would need to replace it with something else. Y'all got any pants? I'm freezing. I suspect the Pale Heart is actually the origin of everything. The Traveler and Veil emerged from it. You see, that would then mean that the Black Garden is completely... I mean, it kind of already is, let's be honest, but the way I see it is that the Pale Heart is just the Black Garden 2.0. That's kind of the way I see it. Destiny 2 Year 1 stuff needs to return, as well as the rest of Forsaken. Seasonal stuff can wait until Bungie can afford to bring back all that. saying that year 2 seasons should return as they were free in year 3. Yeah, I agree. Dude, I'm wearing shorts as well. If the final shape flops, are you going to be screaming internally and externally? I actually don't think it's going to flop. There has been a change of circumstance. I am very cautiously optimistic. Let's just say that. I think that the final shape will be good. I think that if the final shape continues the quality standard of Lightfall, I think it's GG. I do think it's GG. I do. Do you remember when Rohan died? There was a big astrology mural. You know, Ringo, I went really digging into that, and that's something I still don't fully understand. It's a weird one. But no, I don't think there's anything else like that. Plan C. Bro, Pocket Infinity is better than Plan C. It should be Pocket Infinity. I think if the old tower comes back, it will ruin the impact of it coming back. Yeah, that's what I said, though. Yes, I said that to my friends. I was like, wouldn't the old tower coming back make it really weird with it also being in the Pale Heart? And they didn't seem to think so. So... Yep. Yep. I actually did the Legend Starcrossed, whatever it's called, and I found the whole Vex thing. I think it's very clear that they are going to continue that Vex storyline with the, you know, Emsund 12 and probably Praedyth as well, you know. Maybe Osiris too. Bungie has a good track record when their back is against the wall. Yeah, they do. Now, I had a debate about this with my one friend. And here's the thing. We have become used to a pattern where Bungie has a good expansion and then a bad expansion, and then their backs are against the wall, so we get a good expansion, and then, you know, whatever. The problem with this now is that Final Shape being good doesn't actually change anything. Because now you have Marathon to worry about, and you have the X percentage of players who have said that they're going to leave after the Final Shape, regardless of if it's good or not. Then you have the episode model, and if that's going to be good or not. I honestly think that their backs are not going to be... Let's just say, I don't think Bungie can relax until the community has given their verdict on episode 1, like halfway through, and after the release of Marathon. So Final Shape is only the beginning, unfortunately for them. But I just see the lack of the gardener in the story as a sign that there's a hole that needs to be filled. Yeah, the lack of the gardener being a thing is very... Well, no. So it kind of made... So Unveiling kind of explained that. And I made a video about this way back in the day about why the Traveler doesn't talk to us or help us. And it's that whole wager that happened where if the guard... You see, here's the thing. When the gardener made us, the wager was that these dudes are extremely powerful, they can mess with reality, all of that. And they will choose to live by my way of life and look out for the weaker people and protect them. The issue is that if the gardener the whole time was giving us gifts, talking to us, that is her influencing us, and at the same time, that means that our decisions are not necessarily our own and natural. So she can't actually do that at all, because that's technically her breaking the wager. What I will say is that you have the D1 cutscene that was scrapped with the gardener on Mars, and I believe that the gardener and the winnower represent going up to that final level of the story, which is like the cosmic god tier level of like the eldritch beings. And that's a really big jump to make, and I really do think that even before D1, they weren't too eager on making that jump for a while. And I think that they were always there, and what ended up happening was by the time you get to Shadowkeep and Beyond Light, D3's been cancelled, and, you know, a lot of people are coming and going from the narrative team. It's kind of a thing where, well, like, what's even the point of these characters if nothing's ever been happening with them? And I think my personal theory now is it's one of two things, because I do believe that the Winnower and the Gardener are real, and I think that the Collector's Edition, if they were going to completely debunk that, I think that that was the best opportunity to do that. So I actually think that they are still going to keep that in. But my one theory is either they've known about this the whole time, and they were always planning on revealing them, or that they actually did want to retcon it. They actually did want it to only be the Witness. And the response to Lightfall kind of threw all of that away, and now it's like, okay, dang, we have to nail this next story. And so they're thinking we need to actually give something that surprises and delights the players. And I've said this to friends, the vast majority of people don't really know about the Gardener or the Winnower, I don't think. You know, like the people who aren't into the lore and whatever, I truly think that if they release the final shape and you have, say, the Gardener being revealed, it's gonna absolutely shock everybody. And it's gonna be like, oh my goodness. And then you can have the narrative team come out and they can be like, oh, since 2014, we've been building this up. And then, yeah, it's like, wow, dude, Bungie knew all along. Easy W. It's a very easy win for them to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if after Lightfall, because of how that went, they went into damage control mode, and it's like, we need to give people something that they like. So yeah, there's the chance that this was always part of the plan. But maybe this is due to our response to Lightfall. But we'll see, man. I don't know. Will Final Shape be better than Lightfall? Yes, I think so. Yeah, I do. I think the destination will be good. I think the raid is going to be insane. I'm hoping the gear is good. Really, what it comes down to is this. And I have a video that I've been wanting to make on this for a while, but I've kind of had a hard time fitting it in. What do people actually want from the final shape? Is it, so okay, we want a good destination. Okay, well there's a very good chance that this is going to be a better destination than Lightfall's. Like, I don't think anybody's actually concerned about that, really. The music is obviously going to be good. The story, or the raid, sorry, the raid is obviously going to be good because, you know, this is part of the big build up to the story, and then also they have the LFG system, so they can make it harder if they want to. Also, when I was watching the Final Shape showcase, I had a theory. I wonder if they're going to apply the classic and legendary mode system to the raid, where you can play the raid as a raid, or you can play it as like a big story mission. But we'll see, I don't know. But the raid, I don't think people are worried about the raid. So what it really comes down to are three things. People want a good story. What does that mean? Are people worried about not getting a good emotional payoff with Cade? No, I don't think anybody's actually worried about that. Are people worried that the Witness is going to be kind of, To be honest with you, I think most people have already made up their minds about the Witness. Maybe that's just me. I think it's just, yeah, we kind of know what the Witness is at this point, and either way, it doesn't really matter how it goes down. We're going to kill the Witness, and that's going to be it. Okay, cool. This is what actually matters to people. In this story, When I watched the showcase, the one guy said, we are going to be giving answers, or answering questions on the grandest scale. Okay? Said that. What does that mean? Well, let's think about that. We're in the Pale Heart. We have Cade. We're going down memory lane. Is it answering questions about the witness? Well, honestly, the Collector's Edition has answered pretty much 99% of everything we need to know about the witness. There really are only... well, kind of two of them are connected, but there's only three story things that matter. The first is... or three questions that matter. The first one is the mystery about the Pyramid Race and their origins. And that's another video I want to make because I have no idea how Bungie's going to answer this. It's been built up now for a while. Honestly, the roots of this concept go back to, if you watched my interview with Marzier before Destiny, but I think that it was always a concept anyway of this Pyramid Race being connected to ancient humanity. But I think Witch Queen really, well, actually that Kolobayev art also, but I think that Witch Queen really, really locked into that and really made it clear we are still going with this story. So I think if they were to reveal that the Pyramid Race were originally humans, that's a massive reveal. That is like, oh wow. And those are answering questions about why they have pyramid ships, why they have... and I know the Collector's Edition gave the whole wishy-washy answer about why they like pyramids, but, you know, that being said, you have pyramids connected to a race who have earth animals, they wear earth clothes from statues, earth languages, you get what I'm saying. That's a big answer to give. The second thing is, where is the... what actually are the origins of the Traveler? You're telling me that we're going to go into the big ball, we're going to kill the walking fire extinguisher, and we're going to leave, and we're not even going to find out who built the thing? Really? That is an answer on the grandest scale. Where did the Traveler come from? And maybe it's going to be, ooh, well, the gardener just thought it up. The difference between the Traveler and the Veil is that the Traveler is a machine. In my opinion, it needed to be built. At the same time, if it was a purely paracausal thing, I don't actually understand why the hole from the... actually, let me just check this real quick. I'm going to do an investigation. One second. I'm going to say... give me 1 moment. Yes. So, even though the Traveler has healed itself, it has not replaced the hole from the shard that is in the EDZ. And, again, if the Traveler was purely just made up with magic, why not just, you know... So I think that this was a machine that was built, and I think somebody built it, and I think we need to know where. But long story short, the origins of the Traveler, we need to know that. Answer on the grandest scale. And the third and final one, answers about the Gardener and the Winnower. People want to know, is there something actually connected to this Pale Heart? Is there a greater being connected to the light and connected to the darkness? And I think that... let me just put it like this. If we enter the big ball and leave the big ball, and nothing about the Pyramid Race's origins are given, meaning all of the Witch Queen architecture stuff is just to look cool, and there's no explanation at all, which is very weird. No explanation about where the big ball came from is given, and also there's no Gardener or Winnower, and it's just been the Witness versus the big ball. I think a lot of people will be disappointed. It's not going to be bad for a lot of people, but it's going to just be like, okay, that's okay. But I think if you go into the final shape and you see, dang, what? They were human? No way. Wait, we are related to the pyramid race? What? So and so built the Traveler? I don't even say it's the Vex. I really don't give a crap. I don't know. What? The gardener is real? She's been in the Traveler the whole time? People are going to be walking away with their minds blown, and they're going to be like, yeah. So that's what people care about from a story level, right? The second thing is the subclass. Now, I'm not as fussed about this. But for a lot of people, it really matters to them that they get a new subclass. I've seen a lot of people in comment sections or in stream chats being like, oh, no new subclass? Okay, GG, that's over. That's a pass on my part. And to be fair, some of the stuff with the new light subclasses are kind of cool. I think the new Hunter Super looks pretty cool. I think the Titan one seems kind of interesting. The Warlock one is... my condolences. My condolences. But, like, that's not a new subclass. So, I think that for a lot of people, having a new and the third Darkness subclass is really important to them. And finally, people want a new race. If we go into the Traveler... Listen, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. 1 second. If you told me back in 2014 when I was a wee lad that in 2024 I would enter the Traveler and that I would be fighting Hive and Taken, I would tell you the Vex won. We are in the bad timeline. So I think people, you know, this is the big massive finale and it's just another, listen, Shadowkeep, Vex and Hive, Witch Queen, Hive and Scorn, and don't tell me that the Lucent Hive are different, I don't want to hear it. Scorn and Hive. And, did I say Scorned? Yeah, because I shouldn't have said that. Oof. Pale Heart, Hive, and... Taken? Really? People want a new enemy race. And I know there's the Subjugators, but I've seen, I don't know how many times I've seen them called a Rolk knockoff. So, you know, you're asking me, like, oh, is Final Shape going to be better than Lightfall? Listen, I don't think many people are worried about the destination not being better than Lightfall's. I don't think many people are worried about the raid not being better than Lightfall's. I don't think many people are worried about the music not being amazing. I don't think many people are worried about the gear not being fun. What it really comes down to is, are the stories going to answer big boy questions or is it going to be more filler? Am I going to get a cool third Darkness subclass or am I going to be running around with Walmart Sun, whatever it's called? I'm sorry, I don't speak Cringe Warlock, whatever the name of that. Sunbringer? It's not Sunbringer. Words, no, it's not Words of Radiance, it's a book. Whatever the thing is called, Self-Res. Am I going to be running around with Walmart Self-Res? Or am I going to be running around with Strife? You know? And is it going to be a big reveal about the true nature of the light and darkness? Or is it really just me against the guy that has a fetish for taxidermies? That's what it really comes down to. When people are like, is the Final Shape going to be good? That is what it really comes down to. The big boy questions. Like, yes, I think the Pale Heart's going to be great. I think that the music's going to be great. I think the raid's going to be great. I think the gear's going to be great. But there's a difference between what makes a good story and what makes a good story for the Final Shape. And I just explained what makes the Final Shape have a good story. It's big answers about big topics and leaving feeling like your mind's been blown in a good way. That's my TED Talk over. Yes. Maybe the hour will go by fast after all. Okay. Anyway. I have to scroll up in the chat. 1 second. You're eating a calzone right now. Bro, calzones are so good. They're so good. Wait a minute, what's the difference between a calzone and a stromboli? Okay, that's a calzone. I recognize that. My belly recognizes that. Oh, never mind. Wait a minute. Have I been... Oh dear, I've been mislabeling calzones as strombolis. That's my bad. Holy crap. Okay. Anyway, yes, calzones. Very good. Bungie has Eye of the Storm with their content creation. True. I hope the gardener shows up in final shape. Me too, dude. I think all 3 episodes would need to pop for the majority of the community to change their opinions. I think that it really comes down to the first one. Because people make up their minds really quickly. Also, I rewatched that showcase, and the guy made it kind of seem like there wouldn't be an expansion. So we'll see, man. I actually, you know, I've originally been very firmly against not having expansions. But I can see them potentially going down the, like, the Path of Exile, Diablo, Lost Epoch style of content release where it's like leagues. Now leagues and seasons are 3 months as well, but I can see it being like much bigger releases than a season, but not as much stress and panic as an expansion. We'll see, dude. I will say though, raids need to keep coming. I really do think so. I think 1 raid a year, please. Is it just me, or is there a lot of stream delay? Sonia, my internet is a bit of a bingus. I don't know. My upload speed is not the best. If anybody else has this issue, let me know. But I don't know really what I can do to fix it. In my stream settings, I just had it set to normal. Stream delay. Yes, but I posit that once the deal was broken by the winnower. Well, here's the thing. There is nowhere that said that the winnower can't speak to us. Because we are the gardener's argument, not the winnower's. So the winnower can do whatever it wants. It can tempt us. It can try and... which is exactly what it wants to do in unveiling, right? It's the gardener who's not allowed to do anything. Like, let me give you an example here. Now, maybe this is like the most cooked analogy in existence. Imagine I've got an ice cube. And I say to you, I have this ice cube, and nothing can melt it. Nothing will ever melt this ice cube. And I, like, put it on the table. And I'm like, okay, cool. I just take that ice cube and I stick it in the microwave. I can do that because you said... nothing's gonna melt this thing. But if I then take it back from you and I shove it in the freezer, well then no, you're kind of cheating because like no, like that goes against the whole point of it, right? So that's kind of how I see that. Destiny 3 will likely be about the Vex. I think that it really depends on if we leave the system. If we're stuck in the system for the next ages, I do think the Vex are the only faction that have any kind of depth left. But I just want new factions at this point, dude. I really do. I think what people want is a great story and fun content. Exactly. Exactly. For the final shape raid, I really want to see armor made out of the shell and material of the pyramids. Dude, that'd be so cool. With a slight resonant effect, exactly. Like, I don't think Valve the Disciple's armor is that bad. I actually don't. But I want pyramid. I want resonance. Yes. I think it's important that they nail the moment. Exactly. Yep. Yep, I agree with you, Max. It's a linear one, so the whole place will be open at least, but there's not much yet. A good story. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And also, apparently the destination doesn't truly open up until after the campaign. Yeah, I agree with you, Beth. You just got a theory? Share it. I'm gonna hold off on commenting on my thoughts about the pyramids until I finish my D2 iceberg. Yeah, go for it, dude. Any thoughts on Egregore? That's a tricky one, man. Like, I've had my own interpretations of it, and then people who I think have better knowledge of these things have their own interpretations of it. The only thing that I know for a fact is that Egregore is linked to the Veil, to the power of the Veil. And I believe that I think that there's more going on with Presage. Whether Presage had an original meaning and it was retconned, or there is still actually something different going on. Presage represents an anomaly in the story for me. And this is the current whatever of events. Callus wants to speak to the voice in the darkness. As the Glycon does the ritual, goes to crap, massive paracausal backlash, barely escapes, is then contacted by the witness and is told to go to the anomaly of Mercury. I think that there's something weird with that. And that's obviously linked to Egregore. But I need to do more digging into it on my end. Maybe I'll make a video on that. But I don't know. It's sus. It is sus. The final flop. Oof. When do you think we'll see a new trailer for the final shape? You know, some of my friends think maybe with the third showcase. I would be very surprised if that by the launch of Into the Light, so April 9th, we don't get something. You know? And I was actually looking at the post again from Bungie, where they said, oh, we want to surprise and delight you, but we haven't been, and we're going to make things better. And they said that they would be telling us about their bigger, bolder vision for the final shape not too long after the season. Lol. And that is something we still kind of need to see. So I think, yeah. At the same time, I did the math, and usually the Vidoc for an expansion's about like 2 weeks from release. And if I remember correctly, that would mean that we would be getting the Vidoc at around May 22nd to the 24th, roughly speaking. But I think we should get something maybe next week. Or the week after, whatever. The architects. I have said that the Veil and the Traveler are paracausal entities created to maintain the rules of the game. I said this to somebody, and it's that when you look at the Traveler and you look at the Veil, what would you say is the biggest difference apart from one being a machine and the other isn't? It's the fact that the Traveler zooms around and acts and gives golden ages, and the Veil just kind of sits there and stinks like the space tumor it is. And I believe that this is linked to the nature and the ideology of the Gardener and the Winnower. If you look at the original Flower game, it was the gardener who wanted to change things and wanted to act. The winnower didn't. The winnower just wants... Well, the winnower sees the natural way of things as right because it's the natural way of things. So it just is fine to let things continue on. Whereas the gardener got bored and wanted to change the rules and yada yada. So now if we look at these two beings in the Destiny universe, the gardener has made it very clear what she wants to do. She wants to the Golden Ages. So she has the Traveler, which acts as a, I suppose, I guess like a container for the Pale Heart, but also a vehicle which with to move around and enforce her, I guess, will onto the universe. You look at the veil and it just sits there. At the same time, there's actually a chance that the veil wasn't created, it just came to be as a manifestation of all the consciousness in the universe. And I theorized to somebody that you could destroy the veil, and another one might come to be maybe like in a couple million years or some crap like that. But the point is just that I really think that if, because I don't know, if the winnower made the veil, if the winnower is connected to the veil, and it's just sitting there, I don't think it's to do anything. The veil is simply there. And I think that if the veil was some admin tool of the universe, I think that it would be doing more than it has, which is nothing as far as what we've seen. The only thing that we've seen with the veil is what people have done that uses the veil. That's my take on that. What do you expect or want out of the Vex when the focus shifts to them? I want answers. Bungie's been dodging the Vex for quite a while, leaving them really vague and whatever. And I don't remember if I said this on stream or if it was in a call with somebody, but people act as if the Vex are this end game, big, massive boss. I actually don't agree with that. The only reason why people put the Vex on a pedestal is because the Vex are the most vague and unknown, and people fear the unknown, and the unknown is seen as a greater enemy than the enemy that we do know. But why is that? It's simply because we haven't been able to put proper names on any of the Vex's true leadership. But do you know what would happen if we did? Okay, you look at the Fallen. What was the leadership structure of the Fallen? The Houses and the Kells. Guess what? Houses, Kells, Archons, High Servitors. Guess what? We killed them all. You look at the Hive. Worm Gods, 3 siblings, their children. We've killed a bunch of the children. Lol. We've killed 2 of the siblings, and the 3rd is now mortal. And we've killed 1 of the Worm Gods. And again, if there are no Hive, then I feel like the Worm Gods' influence are significantly reduced. What's next? The Taken. The Taken are just mindless creatures that don't have leadership except for whoever holds their leash. Well, we're gonna kill the Witness. What, Savathun? Dealt with her. If we deal with the Winnower, then that's the Taken out of the picture for good. But the Taken don't really have... I don't think people are as interested in the Taken as they are in the other factions because they literally are just a tool. What else do we got? Cabal. Ooh... Cabal. Valasta Arc, dead. A lot of the other leadership for the Cabal, you know, they just kind of were doing whatever in D1, let's be honest. Red War. Killed Gaul. Consuls dead. Killed a lot. Over the years, we've killed so many. The Red Legion should be done by now. Whenever you see them come up again, I just see it as Bungie stretching it as wide as they can. But Red Legion, gone. Done. Blue Legion. Well, if Keitel didn't join us, she'd be dead. We already killed her champion and a lot of the other people in the Blue Legion. So the Cabal, yeah, no, Cabal been there, done that. Who's next? I'm missing somebody. Scorn. Who cares? They're undead fallen. We've killed the Fanatic 50 times. We've killed all of the Barons. We killed Uldren. Scorn, literally just a tool, same category as the Taken. What about the Vex? Okay, well, we killed Atheon. That really didn't do anything because, well, I don't know. They made it seem like it was pretty important, but it just, yeah, okay, whatever. We killed Atheon. Killed a bunch of the other mines. But again, it was pretty vague and, like, literally the only threat that, in my opinion, was a true Vex threat was probably Panoptes. That's probably it. And I think that's why Osiris was obsessed with stopping that particular threat. Because you could see, this is the actually, like, this is bad, you know? But after Panoptes, what is there? Like, okay, Soul Divisive doesn't really matter because they serve the Witness. So if you defeat the Witness, then the Soul Divisive loses its leadership. Maybe they make a new mind or something like that, but okay, whatever. Any of the other collectives or whatever, bro, they've been doing like nothing for the last 10 years. Like, apart from Panoptes, what was like the greatest Vex threat that we had? Atheon was a bit of a bingus, I'll give you that. But we literally killed him in year 1, and the Vex seemed to be just fine. Okay. Destiny Vanilla. All the way to Rise of Iron. Destiny 2. Curse of Osiris. Okay, fair enough. Warmind. Forsaken. Shadowkeep. You know, to be fair, they were spilling out into reality from the Black Garden. But whoa, wait, what's that? What's that? There's a mind behind them. Well, we killed that. That's GG. Okay. So my point is just that the Vex are seen as this big threat. And to be fair, yes, they can do time travel. They can kind of cheat. The problem is that the reason why they've been hyped up, in my opinion, is not just because of the power level they have, but it's because of how vague they are. And the reason why I think that they're so vague is because you can't really put a name on the people who are actually leading them. And the reality is, I think if they had given us those names would have turned into raid or strike bosses, and that would have been the end of that. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen with the Vex. Eventually, Bungie's going to flesh out the Vex, they're going to create some uber mind, and we're going to kill it. So, I'm not trying to, like, absolutely bash on the Vex, because obviously they are a threat and they are a powerful faction, but they've not really been utilized properly. And partially, maybe it's because Bungie doesn't know what to do with them. Partially because they want to give them their own expansion. I don't know. But I think a lot of it just comes down to the fact that they are vague. And I think once that vagueness is removed, they aren't really going to be a problem for that much longer. Anyway, that's a whole TED Talk in and of itself. Oof. Oof. Do you like the strong implications that the Witness species create the Vex? I think... Okay, I'm going to tell you this, Mr. John. Riddle me this. If the Witness's race made the Vex, then there is no reason why the Witness can't time travel. If you can make a species that can time travel, and at the very least, if you can watch, if you are responsible for them evolving into a species that does time travel, you can watch that process and learn from it. So, I'm not too fussed about it, honestly, but I think that if the race did make the Vex, or are responsible for the Vex as we know them, I think that that kind of opens up a can of worms, in my opinion. I did the meth. No, that was no, that was before the stream. I think they need to start working on a bunch of new enemy races for the next saga because the Fawn and Cabal stories are done. I agree. Yes. Meth is what most lore masters use to gain. You're not supposed to tell them that, Ringo. Bro, stop it. I like the June release date because that means Final Shape will release very close to the day summer break starts for me. True. However, it's also now in the same month as the Elden Ring DLC. Oof. Man, shouldn't the Taken be running? I actually agree with that. That's a fair point. The Taken aren't just randomly made. They need to have things that are converted into Taken. That's actually a good point, Gabriel. That's a very good point. Stream is up. Quria! You're right. Actually, JC, yes. Quria, we did kill, sorry. We did kill Quria. My bad. Bro, Quria got done so dirty, I forgot about it. Let me pull up the stream. Bro, dude. They did Quria so dirty, I forgot about it. Oof. Okay, I'm pulling up the stream now. I actually am embarrassed about that. Oof. Sorry, Quria. Quria was taken, yeah. We still have the Aphelions, true. Yeah, I need to also dig into the Aphelions. But in my opinion, I don't know if we're ever going to see anything about them. The Vex will use Maya. Yeah. Watch it just be like a Lakshmi remodel or whatever. My theory of Nezarec before Lightfall was that he was Eternal Warrior. What if the Vex can... I don't know, dude. I had a different theory where Nezarec is going to be leader of the Black Fleet after we defeat the Witness. After we defeat the Witness, now that would be interesting, Mr. Clone. That would be interesting. Moopasworth Ninjason, the 42nd of his name, says, we need a new Vex unit that looks like a ninja and parry stuff with Vex nunchucks. Vex nunchucks. I did read that right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I would take that over an Overload Hobgoblin any day. In Season of Dawn, we learned that the Vex constructed a mine that was able to drain the life from save routine. True! True! You see, that's what I'm saying, man. Okay, that's a fair... Okay, that is a fair rebuttal about it being specifically tuned to Saint. Okay, fair. But it is kind of goofy. The 9 is something we do. I agree with you. I actually think... I think that if they wanted to keep us really excited to keep playing Destiny, I think episode 1 should have been a 9-themed episode. I think that would have been way better. Do you think Heresy will... Heresy? Do you think Heresy will be focused on Xivu, Savathun, or Nokris? It kind of needs to be... So unless Xivu gets dealt with in Final Shape, which I don't see happening, it kind of needs to be Heresy. I can see it being mainly Xivu and Savi. Wario was supposed to be goated. Yes, true. I agree. What do you think of the different origins of the Vex, like unveiling Beyond Light? Again, I think it may honestly come down to them not really knowing exactly what they wanted. But I'm at the point where I'm really not that fussed about it, dude. I think when I feel like a storyteller and a writer doesn't care or doesn't take something seriously enough, I am then immediately less interested in that thing, and I will take that thing less seriously. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And I do feel like the Vex have been on the kind of on the sadder side of things for a few years now, so I don't really take them as seriously. Can the Taken be untaken? Can somebody answer this? Is Sloane still taken? Or did she get untaken? Life made a theory video about Korea. Visiting the homeworld of Oz. Oh, Fundament. But would there be anything left of Fundament after the God Wave? Or would all of their stuff be completely destroyed? Oh.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good day, and good time zone to you all, and welcome back to our second of 3 live streams to go ahead and talk about what's going to be coming with Destiny 2 Into the Light on April 9th. As a reminder, everything you're about to see is available to all players, just as was everything last week when we went ahead and had a chance to go ahead and walk through Onslaught. Now, today we've obviously got a few topics that we touched on last week. We got a new social space to go ahead and check out. We're going to look at some rewards, obviously, and maybe an up-close and personal look at the Brave Arsenal. But of course, I'm not the only one who's going to be talking through it. I'm joined by an all-star cast of folks here from the Bungie development team, and I'm going to go ahead and go on down the line and introduce them. If you were here last week, you obviously recognize his face, but Tom Farnsworth, Senior Design Lead, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, yeah. And a little bit about myself here. I've been at Bungie for about 12 years, maybe a little longer. It's been a while.
A decade plus.
And obviously there's some stuff we're going to be looking at today that's kind of like full circle.
Yeah.
With, the Space Tiger logo and Into the Light there from the early days of Destiny. And I've been fortunate to, I was able to place the Kavastov way back in Cosmo for y'all to pick up.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was something. Obviously, it was
foundation.
Teams are stronger than heroes is a big team effort, but there's a few things that I'm really having had a chance to work and proud to interact with players. And then there's some things I'm a little more infamous for, like placing the drop pods in Homecoming.
So follow him on Twitter, let him know how you thought about that, right?
And then over the past few years, I've been working on seasons and things like the 30th and Into the Light as a creative lead.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you very much for your hard work. As someone who's played a lot of it, excited to go ahead and dive in more with you
this
more of it
would
today.
be his
and of course,
baby
also
then,
we're joined by Chris Proctor, Senior Design Lead here at Bungie. Chris, for the fine folks at home who may not have heard you on a podcast or know anything about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, hey Andy, thanks. I joined Bungie 4.5 years ago as weapons feature lead for Destiny 2. So a bunch of Destiny releases. This will be my 17th with Into the Light.
Is that all?
Yeah. Going through like a bunch of greatest hits.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We obviously have a lot of stuff to talk through with the Brave Arsenal today, and greatest hits, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. And of course, last but very not least, down at the end, the one and only Kelsey Rice, systems designer here at Bungie. Kelsey, how you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great.
All right, well,
Thanks for having me.
obviously the third verse, same as the second and the first. For the folks at home who may not know you or know anything about your work, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yes, I'd love to. First, yes, I'm a systems designer at Bungie. I've been here for about 2.5 years, and I work on a lot of fun stuff like quests and pursuits and progressions, a lot of like spreadsheet design, which I really love.
The fabric that holds all of our adventures together, honestly.
Yes.
Very exciting. Well, obviously, you've had a big hand Into the Light as well today. We're going to go ahead and dive into that here in just a bit. But, before we go ahead and dive on, is there anything you guys are excited about today in particular, or should we just go ahead and show rather than just tell? What do you think? Show it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. Dive on in, rather. So we're going to start off. We have a brand new social space, the Hall of Champions, that we're going to go ahead and check on out. Kelsey,
Hall
Kelsey's the
of
one who's responsible for taking us through that.
Champions.
So shall you return to the throne world, obviously, and dive on in?
Just a room full of
Perfect,
overloads.
excellent. That's right. There are tithes to be gathered. Now, while we're on the way, Tom, Hall of Champions is a brand new social space here in Destiny 2. Where is this? Where are we gonna, like,
rip.
where's this place been? Why are we checking it out now?
No old
Shax is
tower
carved
for
out just
you.
a little bit of the backstage of the tower.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see a few little fun nods here to,
No,
to
no,
Destiny
no.
history.
All right, now on screen.
Yeah, we've got Kelsey on screen
Wait,
here.
wasn't this in a?
Wasn't
this in like a
this is actually
screenshot
the lead up to
of like
the Hall
Lightfall?
of Champions.
This is where they keep it all the time.
Yeah, this is where there's an off season for a lot of the holiday events.
Yeah, little pile
And,
of snow.
And there's a little snow there. There's some greenery.
This is interesting. All right, so we found a bit of the storage room to a degree. So he's carved out space maybe that has been hiding in plain view potentially for other sweeper pots or red jacks around the tower.
And there's some stuff from the Onslaught, this ADU.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Some little
Noah put it here himself.
No, and all this space. Like if we just take a step forward, you're gonna there we go. Here's the Champions Hall.
Here
the
we
Hall of
go.
Champions.
All right, so this is the Hall of Champions.
And just like Zur kind of carved out Eternity for the 30th anniversary, Shax has kind of set this space aside for us and into the light where all your armor, your weapons, your rewards.
Oh,
this is gonna
Recluse
be your
confirmed.
home base for
Recluse
everyone.
confirmed.
Excellent, awesome. All right, well, Kelsey, can you go ahead and show us a little bit? We're gonna go ahead and walk up here. We see a whole bevy of chests, actually. Let's go ahead and start there. What are we looking at, and how do we go ahead and start cracking these open, rather?
Yeah, so as you can see, this space is just full of chests. As you can see here, all the class icons on the floor, a little bit like 30th. You can come here to redeem this currency, trophies of bravery, that you're going to earn from completing Onslaught and from playing the broad game in Destiny. So all of these trophies here, if you progress your hype with Shax, you'll be able to spend them here at all these chests to get a really cool set of armor. I can pull open my character so you can see what that looks like on the Hunter.
That's right. Also, too, so for the folks at home, we went ahead and mentioned this as well online, but as a quick reminder, this is actually an armor set that's inspired by year one of Destiny 2. Tom, this is the parade armor set, I believe is what we're referring to it as?
So like it's the D2 year one parade armor.
That's right. Yeah.
You had it in Homecoming. It's kind of a classic set. We're again like full circle here with we were like beginning the Destiny 2 saga there, and now we're kind of ending the fight here. We're getting ready to take the fight to the Witness, and Shax has got this iconic set of armor. We're calling it the Parade Armor 2.0.
Yeah.
And everyone can earn it. It's available to all players.
Excellent.
And there's some other cosmetics we can show off here that kind of play with it too.
Very nice. And also, too,
I
for
do think
folks
it's
out
a
there,
cool-
we
it's a
obviously
cool
we have
place,
the
though.
Hunter here. Actually, Kelsey, can we check out the armor set one more time?
Yeah.
For the folks at home.
the
Also, too,
friggity
so this is
frackities behind
an
Shax?
up close and personal look, obviously, at this armor set, which will be available to everyone that goes ahead and jumps into the Light. Also, too, there is a Titan set and a Warlock set, we should also say. That you can go ahead and see in the key art as well, but obviously this will be arriving on April 9th, so you'll get a chance to go ahead and go hands-on. But yeah, it's looking fresh, honestly. I wouldn't be upset to go ahead and don that armor. Oh boy,
Yeah,
and
it
there's
was
some
really
others.
interesting, like setting all these. We're working on all this stuff because we were kind of waiting to finally see that set, and finally being able to equip it in game was just such a cool experience.
Yeah, honestly. All right, so we're obviously equipped. We've got an armor set that we're going to go ahead and be chasing down, but we're now hanging out with Shax, and is that our site over there as well?
Yes, that is our site.
Excellent.
And one last chest I want to point out here.
What is behind
This
Shax?
one is going to be your hub for just grinding out weapons. So those trophies that you'll be collecting with Shax, you can just keep redeeming them here, and you'll be able to get all your guns here.
I like the
This one
radiance
here
in the scope.
is,
That is
we're bringing
cool.
back the Gift of the Thunder Gods. If you need to catch up on your power level to make sure that you're like ready to hop right in, that's something you can do as well.
That's right. And honestly, it's again, as a reminder, this is available to all players. And so if you've got any friends that maybe aren't quite at that powerful cap, also too, actually double check. This will bring folks up to the powerful cap, was it?
Powerful, not pinnacle.
That's right. Okay, perfect. All right. So for your friends that want to go ahead and dive in right alongside you, even if they maybe haven't played, very much recently, they got a chance to go ahead and just catch right up.
They'll be ready.
Be ready for day one. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and talk to Shax, actually, as a starting point. So how are we going to be working with Shax, obviously? He's opened up his Den of Antiquities to us, but Kelsey, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we need to pull out all the stops in defeating the Witness. So Shax has opened up his brave arsenal for us. And as you can see, Shax is really like the shining star of this area. I've been kind of panning by all these hollow Shaxes that line the space, which I'll be happy to talk about in a moment.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, let's
Do it.
let's go
Do it.
talk to him and see what he's got. So
Okay, I'm confused.
over the course
Explain.
of Into the Light, as you earn reputation with him, you're going to be able to progress and get all this cool stuff. One thing in particular I want to point out:
Interesting.
this key.
A super black key. Is that what I'm seeing over there, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder where that goes.
So maybe people that are D1 vets potentially from back in the day might remember this. Is this what's this symbiote we're looking back here?
Yeah, right now it's pretty powerful. It's in containment.
What is
but
it?
if you keep playing Into the Light, you'll be able to get access to the keys you need to unlock this.
Well, what is it?
And get access to the shader.
Oh, it's so good. All right. So obviously,
Oh,
too,
it's a
yes, as a
shader.
reminder, heads up to everyone. So one of the ultimate rewards available through this will indeed be the return of the Super Black shader. It's back, finally. It's back. There's probably some song lyrics to go along with that. I couldn't tell you what they are. But I will say to the Destiny Fashion subreddit, we are prepared for you to go ahead and take this on wholesale. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and just equip Super Black and give it a look really quickly. Oh, man. Chat, how do you feel? Come on. It does not get much better than that. Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
So Shax is obviously going to be there to help us get rewards. In addition to the Brave Arsenal and the armor, Super Black is waiting for us. So tell us a little bit about our site
So
as well.
all of
actually.
that is just for a
I'm not sure if many
shader.
people in the chat know about him. He's usually lived in lore entries, but let's go ahead and get a look and see what we're going to be working with him on.
Yeah. So our site has a lot of quests for us. And we did some pretty interesting things, in my opinion, with some of the quests you can pick up from our site. They're going to unlock a couple things. They also have very fun puns that we had a lot of fun working on. For every single weapon that we're going to be talking about today, there's a corresponding quest. Once you've completed the quest for that weapon, you're going to be able to unlock access to that weapon dropping as rewards. But there's two other really cool things that we can talk about there. One, we have these special limited edition appearances for the Brave Arsenal.
Yeah.
So completing these quests, you're going to get a guaranteed, curated copy of these limited edition weapons.
Excellent.
Which I'm happy to show because they look rad. And you'll unlock attunement, which is something I can talk about in a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of these.
So here's a look, of course. Obviously, for the folks at home, they may remember this one. I get a hunch that chat obviously is getting a little excited, but I know it's so exciting. The mountaintop has
man.
returned. So this is a quick look at the mountaintop. Obviously, Chris, we're going to dive in more with the whole Brave Arsenal in a little bit, but this is, I believe she touched on the limited edition versions of these, the ornaments that exist on there. Can you tell us a little bit about what the limited edition variants of these are that are available over the course of Into the Light?
Sure, yeah. So the Brave Arsenal weapons will drop from Onslaught, and we're talking a little bit about attunement and whatnot here. There is a low chance that one will drop as a limited edition variant, which comes pre-equipped with a super shiny ornament that's locked to that weapon.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the Edge Transit here is the limited edition variant. These are kind of exotic levels of fancy.
Yeah.
So you can't apply shaders to the ornaments. You have to remove the ornament first.
Got it.
The ornaments will only be available up until the final shape launches.
Yeah.
Or the limited edition variants.
Makes sense.
So the base versions will continue to be available.
All right. So this is the ultimate I was there version with the limited edition on there, but other than that, after the final shape launches, people will still be able to get these weapons and keep farming for them.
Yeah, there's
Excellent.
they have super cool visuals. They
boy.
drop with double perks in both trait columns, but they don't have any other gameplay differences. So if you've got a great base weapon, you don't need to go.
Okay,
just cosmetics.
I am
Cosmetics.
actually
Fair
kind
enough.
of
Makes sense. Absolutely.
looking forward
All right,
to
we're
this.
going to be able to test these out in a little bit. So obviously, we're going to
I'm
go through
looking
all of these
forward
here in
to
just a
this.
bit. Chat, there's a taste of just a few. We're glad that you get a chance to go ahead and check it out. But also, too, for the folks that want to go ahead and farm these rolls out. Kelsey, I believe you just mentioned attunement. Can you tell us a little bit more about that before we move on?
Yes, I'd love to. So one cool thing that you can do when completing these weapon quests, once they're available at our site,
Yep.
is attune to a weapon. So let's say that there's a weapon you really want to drop. You can bend luck in your favor and make it more likely for that weapon to appear. So for example, I can do that now. Let's do Recluse.
Yeah.
So
Chat seems to be pretty hyped on Recluse.
So, if you're looking around, you'll see there's all of these Shaxes everywhere, which we just had an absolute blast working with and coming up with. And once you've unlocked attunement, you can just freely do this at any time. You can change your attunement at any time. You can choose which weapon has a higher chance of dropping. So I'm going to do that now. Okay.
There we go.
Got our thumbs up. We're
Get
good.
the affirmation from Shax. Never hurts.
Yeah, I can always use more affirmations from
It never hurts, honestly. He shouts them very effectively, I might add.
Yes. So yeah, at any point, you can just visit another one. I could even just go and, unattune and reattune to my heart's content. Just once you've unlocked it, you can do that at any time.
Awesome.
So yeah, pick your favorites that you want to chase, and you'll have a much higher chance of getting them.
Excellent. All right. Obviously, the Hall of Champions has a lot in store. There's even more, obviously, chat than is even here, but we see what you're saying in chat. I feel the electricity in the air. I should also note one more thing. You should all go out and farm with impunity to go ahead and get the roles you want, ultimately, because with the arrival of the final shape, we'll indeed be adding 100 more vault slots. So go out there, grab the rolls, grab 27 Edge Transits, hold on to them until you get a chance to Google which one has the God roll. All up to you, but we just wanted to let you know that with the arrival of the final shape, you'll be getting 100 more vault slots. So go ahead and dive on in and grab whatever you want to go ahead and chase.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right.
I'm still gonna
That's
use
a
it up
solid
like
tour
instantly,
of
but
the Hall
thanks.
of Champions. I think maybe at this point we go ahead and start diving on in with the Brave Arsenal. Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll hop in. Let's go clean out some lost sectors.
There we go.
Guns.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We got some demos to run as well. All right, everyone. So this is as a quick look at the Hall of Champions as well. Now we're going to go ahead and dive on in and look at the Brave Arsenal. Now, Chris, obviously you were intrinsically involved with kind of setting this whole thing up, with building the Brave Arsenal, deciding what was out there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about, how you guys landed on this iconic set of Destiny weapons for Into the Light?
Yeah, and we all have our own favorite weapons internally, and wanted to make sure that we delivered on a ton of nostalgia for the whole Destiny 2 weapon set.
Yeah.
If you look on Reddit or Twitter, there are hundreds of weapons that these could be.
Yeah.
We had to narrow it down to 12. It's like we couldn't reasonably fit any more into the activity.
Yeah.
We couldn't necessarily afford to make many more than that.
Here we go.
So it's a whole set of weapons from across Destiny's history. A few recent ones. Most of them are from earlier in D2's
Yeah.
history.
So for those who have been terrorized by Blast Furnace and the Crucible, it's back now.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Tom, let's go ahead and just kind of walk through these. Let's go ahead and take us at a hung jury I see next as well.
Sure, I can just. Do you want me to
Okay,
I'll just
start with the
mouse
blast.
over them here? Blast Furnace, Hung Jury,
Jury returns as well.
Session.
For anyone that hasn't had a chance to dive into Deepstone Crypt, they can get their hands on a raid weapon as well.
That's what I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was.
should just touch on Succession. And there's
Yeah, please.
Forbearance in there as well. But these are fairly recent weapons, but they are, by default, you have to own the release that those raids came out in. So you have to own Beyond Light if you want to get Succession. You have to
Right.
own Witch Queen if you want to get Forbearance.
Yeah.
The Onslaught versions of these weapons, or the Brave Arsenal versions, are available to all players. So you get a taste of what, the raw power of a raid weapon.
Yeah. Which honestly, once you get Succession in your hands, suddenly everything feels so alive. It's like a ton of bricks. Let's see, we also have, there we go, Midnight Coup. For anyone who watched last week, thank you, Noah, as well, for going ahead and showing this off. Midnight Coup obviously makes an incredibly triumphant return. Actually, can you adjust it just so it shows
I
the
am
waves
actually
in the
looking
shader,
forward to
Tom?
this.
There we go.
There we go.
Just,
I am
that
looking
never gets
forward
old,
to this.
honestly. Harkens back to one of my favorite times in the Black Armory. Excellent. All right, so we have a full list here. So we've gone over all of them in the primary slot. Let's go ahead and move on down to the green ammo selection as well. Obviously, Recluse, chat, you've all noticed that. We're just as happy that it's back as you are. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else we got in store there. Luna's Howl, of course. Actually, in particular with Luna's Howl, I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but these weapons are not necessarily their previous state, just kind of held in stasis, but you guys have brought them forward with new perks. You've kind of done some redesigns as well. With Luna Howls in particular, you were mentioning that the Magnificent Howl perk has undergone a rework as well.
Yeah, in its original shipping form, that was way too strong because it would let you two-tap a Guardian in PvP incredibly fast with the perk up.
Yeah.
180 RPM. So we've brought Luna's Howl forward as a 140 RPM hand cannon, but it retains the precision frame, so it's super easy to control the recoil.
Yeah.
We've also redesigned the Magnificent Howl perk, so that now lets you build up stacks of super bullets a little bit reminiscent of Hawkmoon.
Yeah.
With precision final blows.
Yeah.
And then you can unleash those on Guardians to do massive damage. You can get a 2-tap, but it requires a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
And obviously very strong in PvE as well.
Yeah, got to bide your time and actually land those headshots.
Yeah.
I'm saying that mostly to myself in the mirror as I get upset for losing another round of trials, but
So we had 2 hand cannons in this release, Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl.
That's right, yeah.
We assigned those to 2 different designers.
Yeah.
And there's a competition going on to see which one is more popular or is more effective.
Oh, really?
So
everyone out there in chat right now should let us know which one of those 2 ends up being their favorite.
Yep.
We have an actual debt to settle internally here by the sounds of it. Which one do you think is going to win, Chris?
I'm a little biased.
Little biased?
I have my Midnight Coup.
I think
from
Midnight
the
Coup looks
Leviathan raid
cooler.
still in my vault.
Oh, yeah.
I'm deeply attached to that weapon.
Fair enough. All right.
We'll see.
Let's see here. All right. Also, Elsie's. So actually, here's a cool one as well.
Yeah.
This is no longer the Stranger's rifle. This is Elsie's
Alloy,
rifle now.
Yeah, Elsie's
your
no longer
friend
Stranger.
was straight up saying this.
But yeah, this is a really iconic Destiny 1 weapon that everyone who played through the Destiny 1 campaign would have acquired as
Yeah.
the Stranger's rifle. It's come forward with as close to its original feel as we could manage, updated for the Destiny 2 sandbox. It's got a ton of cool new traits. It's really very, very strong, high impact
Yeah.
pulse rifle. It's running the rewind rounds perk, which we made for Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
The D2 version, which harks back to the original perks on the Stranger's rifle in D1 as well.
And this one already looks filthy, if I might say, with Zen Moment and Desperado on there. Like that's.
Desperado, yeah.
Did the room get colder, or what just happened? Honestly. And also too, so there's a new. Actually, as long as we're there, Tom, if you wouldn't mind actually opening that back up, there's a new origin trait, pardon me, as well on these.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, the Indomitability trait.
That's cool.
Final blows
like
with a light subclass equipped Grand Grenade energy.
I'll take your
Dark
entire
subclass
stock.
equipped,
Yep,
melee
that's
energy.
exactly it.
So you get like that sort of duality, and they're reasonably strong perks.
Yeah, designed to keep you in the fight either way.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, Tom, let's go ahead and keep checking out. What else do we have in store here? Forbearance as well. So this is, you were talking about obviously getting that taste of raid weapons.
Yeah.
How did you guys go ahead and bring Forbearance forward also too into the light? Like, what did you add new perks into the pool, or what did you guys end up doing to kind of retain that classic feel?
Yeah, so we wanted it to feel like the Witch Queen version, but with slightly updated perks. So the perk pools are fairly similar, but with a couple of spicy additions. So you'll notice Disruption Break left column on a waveframe grenade launcher, super, super strong.
Yeah.
It's not something that you get on the original
That'd
version.
be disgusting.
Yeah, but it's got all of the old classics.
Yeah.
It's got the new Indomitability Origin trait instead of the Soul Drinker trait. And that's the same is true of any other weapons which had already shipped with Origin traits.
Yeah.
Bro, and I just crafted it as well.
So good with
Oh,
that
man.
ornament on there. And of course, I think was that a limited edition ornament on the Recluse as well that you have over there?
Yep, there's a base
just
and
look at the.
Oh,
look at
let's
the
take a look.
difference between-
There we go. That's,
But it-
again, the
it
ultimate
looks
I was there.
the exact
As you go
same.
ahead and
What?
begin your showdown with the Witness, with the
Right.
arrival of the final shape.
It looks the
Doesn't
exact
hurt to have
same.
one of these sitting on your hip, obviously, to go ahead and
How
make a
is that
statement the
different?
moment you walk into the room.
Yeah, and this one is the curated version. The natural drops of the limited edition variants do have
Double perk out? That's right. Yeah. Excellent. And of course, our beloved
I
Edge
guess they
Transit.
just make it all
Yeah,
We
gold.
could keep it away if we wanted to.
When we were looking at the fan favorite weapons, like we wanted to bring forward.
I was
some of
hoping
the
that they would make it
strongest
white
weapons
and gold,
for
but that's
Forsaken.
just me.
Yeah.
Everybody has like fond memories of blasting away raid bosses with that transit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. There's amazing memes associated with this weapon.
Yeah.
We actually brought it forward as one of the strongest heavy ammo grenade launchers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were talking about that earlier. You're saying this one just hits like an absolute ton of bricks now.
Oh yeah, you can see some of the perks there. It's pretty wild.
I mean, honestly, yeah, this is already looking pretty good. This is one that would obviously find a home in my loadout. My Void one specifically, but I'm also picky about that kind of thing. All right, what else do we have here in this bottom row? The one and only, the Falling Guillotine. Now, actually, one thing that you mentioned as we were kind of talking about this earlier as well that was kind of cool is this is also going to be probably the first sword outside of those available in Crota's End, I believe, that has sword logic on it as well.
Yeah,
that's
right.
cool. Sword logic.
Seemed like a great opportunity to put that perk on something that isn't from that raid, and
Yeah.
a little bit earlier than we would normally put raid perks onto a new weapon.
Yeah. I'm also going to
Seemed
echo
like-
chat here for a second. Is that Eager Edge I see on there?
That is an Eager Edge, yeah.
Okay.
It'll only be the second sword outside of 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
To have access to
It
that.
would
trait.
basically just be the Slammer and then the Falling Guillotine
Yeah,
from...
that's right.
Yeah, that's it. That's exciting.
Yeah, and this one has like the classic Void perk combo of Repulsor Brace,
Yeah.
destabilizing rounds. It's good fun, and a lot of other strong ones.
It just doesn't get old, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're also joined by the Hammerhead. Hammerhead, honestly. It's as long as you're dipping your toe into the world of the Black Armory, this is obviously one that has to come forward.
Everyone's favorite legendary machine gun.
Yeah, seriously.
You can't go past it.
It just, from the sound to the rate of fire, everything about it just is one that lives on in my memories and my dream journals, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
This is looking fantastic. All right, so we have a whole cast of characters. Now, Tom, you've got some loadouts set up. You've got some lost sectors that you're going to go ahead and start diving in on. I vote you go in there and start tearing it up. So we're already there. Okay, that's fantastic.
The classic
I think it's okay.
Mountaintop Recluse combo here.
The new social
There's some new
space was
stuff with
kind of
Mountaintop,
decent.
too, where you can rocket jump.
That's right. So I'm so glad we got to that point this early, because one of the things that was really cool about sort of seeing this development process behind the scenes was, you know, obviously one of the core tenets was to make sure that you're retaining that classic feel of these weapons and kind of what made them so great to begin with. But you've kind of done some redesigns and expanded even just on the loot pool,
True,
or pardon me, on the perk pool rather. How did you guys kind of go about the process of sort of rebuilding these weapons for this modern era of Destiny?
Yeah, I mean, we held off on bringing Mountaintop into the sort of modern Destiny because it was just way too strong in both PvP and in PvE.
Yeah.
In PvP, it was like a pretty unpleasant meta when Mountaintop was part of everyone's loadout, so we definitely didn't want it to be able to one-hit kill, even with a direct hit in PvP anymore.
Fair.
So we've reduced that a little bit. But we also saw how excited people were for the Danger Zone rocket launcher perk, launching you into the air. So we've made that part of the base behavior of the new micro-missile frame grenade launcher intrinsic. So you do super low self-damage and give yourself a massive physics impulse.
Yeah. The Team Fortress 2 soldier mains are just suddenly dusting off their rocket launchers in real time right now, obviously. So obviously, too, is, you know, going ahead and adding just not only to the perk pool, but kind of the intrinsic feel of these weapons. Were there any others in particular when you guys were working on them where you're like, yes, this is how this change needs to go? Like, obviously, Magnificent Howl got to change, but is there anything else in that pool that feels like it was really kind of a cool leap forward for these weapons?
I think Blast Furnace is a good example because the Black Armory version rolled with scopes, which, like, everyone would just pick the best scope. Like, internally, we felt like the Rasmussen ISA scope was, like, by far the best. Really, really clean.
Yeah.
And with the changes to damage fall-off on weapons, zoom doesn't matter that much anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So it comes pre-equipped with that scope geometry, but it can roll barrels instead. So you get all the benefits of stats.
Oh, awesome.
Stats are already pretty juiced.
Yeah.
But you have that classic scope geo.
Actually, also, too, to channel chat one more time, as a quick heads up as well, these weapons, while they won't be craftable, they are going to be enhanceable. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So these weapons will retroactively be enhanceable when the final shape comes out. So any drops that you get during this initial period, you'll be able to enhance them.
No, that's cool.
Excellent. Okay, so you want to make sure to really hold on to those god rolls that Light.gg went ahead and told you about. Yeah.
Oh man, I missed it.
All right, so Tom, you
That's
swapped your loadout now?
cool.
Is this Blast Furnace we see you were?
Yeah, you were just talking about Blast Furnace,
Oh,
so I
that's
thought
cool.
I'd hop over to it.
It's thematic, yeah.
Nice and smooth, like it always was.
Kelsey, actually, too, on your side, you know, obviously having this new tapestry of rewards to work with has been pretty exciting. As you kind of went ahead and sort of hatched your plans of how players would go about getting these, kind of what role did these weapons play, I guess, in the overall reward structure?
Yeah, of course. So we wanted the rewards of this release to be all about the weapons. And
Yeah.
the shining stars, they're awesome. I saw people were asking a little bit about what we're going to be getting from Onslaught.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chests in there, and every single chest has a weapon in it, and all of those chests can react to attunement. So if you attune to a weapon, anytime you see a chest, it's going to happen. So
Excellent.
every set, not every wave, that'd be crazy. Every set, there's a chest with a weapon in it. If you do it at higher difficulty, there are 2 chests. They both have weapons in them. And if you keep the ADU alive throughout the entirety of Onslaught, there's another bonus chest available. So you can get a lot if you just keep yourself kicking and get all the way through there, keep the ADU up. There's a lot of guns to be had.
So those folks who are going to dive into the Legend 50-wave version of Onslaught are going to be well rewarded for those efforts. I'm asking partially for myself, obviously, as well, and my fire team at home who might be listening.
Weapons team is really excited about attunement because it it gives players some control over the drops that they get, but it retains the excitement of those drops. Like, you will get your like blast furnace dropping from the chest. You don't have to go and focus it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, we love that.
Actually, also too is, you know, you guys are also players of the game. Chris, were there any roles or weapons in particular where it was just your personal favorite that you had a lot of fun with in a playtest, or?
Probably of these weapons, my favorite is blast furnace.
Yeah.
With that classic scope and the role that I've got on mine, the role that I'm going to try and get in retail,
Yeah.
is Headseeker Kill Clip, which is like just really nasty in PvP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. I'll put another few hundred hours in the Crucible.
I'll be right there with you, honestly. The moment I can put Dead Man's Tail down again, then that will be the one that I'll pick up immediately after. Kelsey, also too, is, you know, I know we were talking a little bit earlier.
Love
You've been deep into
this
the Onslaught
blast furnace
playtests as
look.
well. So that
It's
means in
so
addition to the Brave
clean.
Arsenal, you've got everything else at your beck and call. What are some cool builds you've been working on, honestly, to go ahead and really emphasize these new weapons?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying Solar Warlock. I found is really fun in Onslaught because you can find a lane and just completely nuke it if you get your like unlimited grenades going. You can just completely destroy. So I've been really partial to Luna's Howl.
Fair.
Yeah, I tend to get a little feral, a little too excited. Sometimes having like heal clip on it or something can give me that extra staying power I need to keep that ADU up.
It's part of, you got to be in the fight as much as you possibly can. And I say that partially as a Void Hunter who crutches on invisibility and runs away right away. So I understand and respect the hustle that I don't end up having. Also too, we got a question from chat from Lil Camino, I think is how you pronounce the name. My mistake if you get it correct. But just to reiterate, will these weapons be attainable after the final shape arrives?
Yes, the base weapons will be, but the limited edition variants with those sweet ornaments will not.
Excellent. All right. So again, make sure you go ahead and dive on in once Into the Light is here, and make sure you get that I was there card, more or less. At least again, speaking for myself. So also too is, I heard you guys mention briefly curated roles as well, because kind of like a part of the quests process, was it with Shax, or our site rather?
With our site, yes.
Thank you, that's right. So is this ones that you guys have set up where it's like, this is the go-to role, this is from our opinion, like one of our favorites, or what was the process of kind of building those curated roles?
Yeah, we try to deliver something which is like an extremely good role, not necessarily the single perfect role, because we want you to have a reason to go in and get excited for those drops.
Yeah.
But like we would say, they're a 70-80% god roll.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, on the way, certainly.
Yeah.
And also, too, is remember, everyone, we were getting 100
I
more
have a
vault
feeling
slots
that
once
these
the final
won't be
shape comes out, so
craftable.
go ahead and just farm away. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kelsey, were you going to say something more?
Yeah, we also just wanted to make sure people weren't completely at the mercy of RNG when it comes to getting these limited edition variants. So if you log in, you do those quests at our site, you can get one guaranteed copy of a limited edition of each weapon with that curated role.
Yeah. See, we're getting, again, I think, obviously, Tom is here in the heat of battle, so to speak, but the origin trait, we just got another question about, actually. So for the folks at home, it's Indomitability?
I think
or?
it's
Yes.
Thank you.
just
All right, and that one, can you, again, walk through
Midnight,
that
who
origin trait for us one more
unfortunately
time?
Yeah, so on Final Blows, it grants you grenade energy if you're running a light subclass.
Here we go, we got it on screen.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, which would be Arc Void or Solar, or melee energy if you're running a Darkness subclass, which would be Stasis or Strand.
Got it, okay. So I can go in there's a stasis main and just throw all the shurikens I possibly have. Yeah, there's a more technical name for that. I'm sorry, I got it wrong out of the gate. All right, let's see here. And also too, actually, you know, we talked kind of at the beginning about what it was like to sort of pare down this list of weapons down to 12.
I don't know how I
Can you
feel
tell us
about
a little
them
bit about
bringing
that
back
process? I
other
can't
raid
imagine it was
weapons.
anywhere near as simple.
I feel like it takes
12 is
away
a
from
really
people
small
doing
number when
those
you're
raids.
looking at that set of weapons. And
Yeah.
if we'd gone by lists on the internet or even internally,
Yeah.
could easily have ended up being half hand cannons. We had to restricted ourselves to 2.
Fair.
There were a lot that could easily have made the cut that we
Yeah.
just couldn't fit them in.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, though, between Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl, like a very, very solid cast to go ahead and come out of the gate here with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really strong. And
They,
yeah, we definitely wanted to get that spread of experience across the first few years of Destiny 2 as well.
Yeah, honestly. And also, too, is even, you know, recalling all the way back to the Black Armory. You know, that's, I think, a set of weapons that so many of us think back to so fondly. You know, again, I think one of the goals here was to go ahead and retain that original feel. You know, you guys went ahead and added in a bunch of new perks. Can you tell us what that process was like in terms of
Yeah.
making sure those perks matched
the
up
sniper.
with that feel of the weapon?
Yeah, and in cases where we have multiple weapons in the same archetype shipping, so we've got 2 pulse rifles, 2 hand cannons, we assigned those to different designers and like made sure that the roles that they occupy in the sandbox were sufficiently different. We also would look at the most popular roles that the weapons had originally
Yeah,
and make
that's
sure
cool.
that those still appear Well, the weapons have meant having to redesign some perks, which would be too strong in today's sandbox.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, and then introducing, like when you go and you look at
Bro, with the
a blast
radiance
bonus in your
in
vault
the
or something, you're
scope?
like, man, I wish they could roll X perk that came out after that, right? Like,
Yeah.
And made sure we put a few of those in there as well.
Yeah, and there's also, I'm not sure if we've seen it on screen yet, but there's a new perk that'll be joining this pool as well, won't there?
Yeah, there is. There's in this build,
Yeah,
it's called
I
Blast
know,
Stand.
I know.
The shipping name is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty sweet perk. If we could bring up the description of that when Tom is out of danger.
Which weapon is it on?
There was one. It was on Blast Furnace, I think. Yeah.
Let me get
Yeah.
a shot.
Oh, there we go. All right, well, we'll let him defend himself
Yes,
briefly.
yes.
But we do have a couple questions from chat as well. So there's one that asks, Flo's Knuckles, I believe. There we go. Can we grind Onslaught multiple times for multiple drops? I'm assuming this is just go ahead and dive on in and grind to your heart's content.
Yes, you'll be getting weapons every run. You'll also be getting currency from shacks that you can bring back, and you can throw in that chest that I showed you. So you can just keep opening that chest. Just keep going.
Dive on in, honestly. Yeah, go ahead and chase that roll, whatever you want. Also, too, one more quick question from chat. Mega125358, pardon me, Mega, asks, can you take the limited edition ornament off and put it on another copy of the weapon, or is it just on that one weapon?
So you can remove it. You can't put it on something else. It's
Cool.
locked to the weapon that it dropped on.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, honestly, when it looks that good, you just gotta go ahead and stick with what you got, you know?
Yeah, if players have a favorite shader that they want to put on a weapon, they can remove it and put the shader on.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't
That's a
change
good
it.
question.
You can go ahead and photo
Trojan.
finish it up to your heart's
I
content,
don't
obviously,
actually
that
remember.
opportunity. Or super black, obviously, when the time arrives. All right, let's see. So, Tom, what are you running right now?
I've just been hopping around with all the weapons here. Now I've got Blast Furnace and LC's
Yeah,
rifle
dude, this
on.
is the
I
clear
know
winner
double
for me.
primary isn't
That
always
looks
meta,
so good.
but
We're gonna make it meta for the sake of this
they're both
particular lost sector.
pretty solid weapons.
For purposes of illustration.
No, here's that new perk that you both were talking about, Last Stand, on.
Again, reminder, this
Blast
name will be
Furnace.
changing in the live version.
Yep.
Yeah, so weapon final blows grant bonus damage. Melee and grenade final blows grant a larger damage bonus that can stack. So once you get this perk really rolling, it's very strong.
Yeah.
To sustain it.
Nice way to go ahead and clear out a bunch of red bars and then take down that yellow bar with ease if
Yeah.
you go ahead and do everything correctly.
Seems like it, or it kind of reminds me of Swashbuckler a little bit.
Yeah, it ties nicely into the origin trait as well, because the origin trait grants you energy for your abilities, and then you get bonus damage for getting.
It's kind of triggering me that
final
he's
blows.
not
Yeah,
shattered
really
diving.
creates that loop, honestly. You just become
Yeah.
the self-fulfilling prophecy of death at that point.
Like a-
Which, as a guardian, is never a bad place to
instant.
find yourself, frankly. Let's see here. Actually, also, too, is, you know, I know we touched, obviously, on Chris's personal favorite being Blast Furnace. Kelsey, was there anything when you saw this land back on the list of the Brave Arsenal where you were like, finally, that one's back?
I was real excited about Linda's Howl.
I mean, that's just smart, honestly. That just makes sense. Tom, how about you? Is there anything in particular that you know, obviously having taken such a big hand in helping design and sort of define all this stuff, you know, what are your favorite weapons and roles that have come out of this?
I'm pretty basic, pretty easy. I really am excited about Recluse and Mountaintop.
Yeah.
Like I just love that combo of being able to like get in close with an SMG and get the damage perk going and feeling really powerful. Then being able to switch to the grenade launcher and fire off some like little mini rockets and be able to play around with getting a little more airborne.
The rocket jumping is fun.
It's just fun.
Can already imagine some Strand Hunter doing that above me and then immediately diving on top of me and being invisible.
And I look forward to like, you know, not accidentally blowing myself up, but it's a lot harder to do now. Like I remember with Mountaintop back in the day, I would just like shoot my feet on purpose and like it was usually like an instant death, and so you can really get a lot more up close and personal with it.
Yeah, let's see. Fit nicely into a lot of builds. I'm gonna say I can already see a Tommy's Matchbook build with that. Just floating up there in the sky as a warlock, just murdering everyone. But that is to say, now there's an opportunity for more than just warlocks to be the floating weapon platforms out there in the game.
Yeah.
I know, Kelsey. I'm sorry. we can share.
Yes.
We can share the abilities.
Particularly with the redesign of Manticore, there's a fun strategy. I don't know how super effective it is, but
Yeah.
like mountaintop to launch yourself way up into the air.
Yeah.
Switch over to Manticore.
Yeah.
And you can just hover around.
Just seems like a fever dream I had one time, honestly.
This is what
also,
Bungie
too, for
needs
the
to
folks at
really
home that
step
may
the
not have seen
game
the
up.
Manticore
If this is-
kind of redesign, can you tell us a little bit, too, about how the intrinsic perk on that works now?
Well, what is it they need to do?
Yeah, so it's The base functionality, the way you use the weapon is fairly similar. We've tightened up its activation, so it will no longer activate if you're running downstairs and that kind of thing, which is pretty irritating. You can also just deactivate it by holding reload, and we'll do that quick special reload animation.
Oh, very nice.
Before you had to wait for it to expire or like switch off the weapon.
Yeah.
And then the catalyst, instead of just giving you damage resistance, now gives you a void overshield, which
nice.
of course also gives you damage resistance, but
Yeah.
can tie into void builds in a pretty synergistic way.
Very nice, honestly. Yeah, between that, Devour, the whole nine, obviously, there's going to be a lot of mobile weapon
Survivability as well. It also decreases enemy accuracy against you, similar to
It's very hard
the
to hear me.
Always On Time
Thank you for
Sparrow,
telling
so
me. I will
yeah.
adjust
You've
that.
got a ton more like damage resistance, you've got an overshield, and enemies are missing you all the time. So it's combined with being able to launch yourself up.
I have turned myself
Yeah.
up, and I've
That's also
turned
too,
it down
actually,
a little bit.
we got a question from chat that is, what's
Let
the
me know
difference
if that's
between,
better.
the new perk
And I'll actually,
and Golden Tricorn? They
I'll
sound
bring
pretty
this up
similar.
closer to my
They
face
do
as
have
well.
kind of similar functionality.
Let me know if that's better.
The big one is that the Golden Tricorn bonus is large, but doesn't stack once you get it. So the uptime on the new perk
If the stream is too loud or I am too quiet, let me know.
is that the uptime is higher.
Excellent. Okay, makes sense. Also, too, it's we got another chat as well. Chat question, pardon me, I should say. Will the weapon ornaments for Luna's Howl and the Recluse be equipable for the new versions of those weapons?
Yes, they will.
Oh, awesome.
Both for the base versions and for the variants, you can equip any ornaments that you've got. Players have already noticed that some of those are showing up later in the season.
Yeah.
In the Bright Dust Storm.
For anyone out there that might go ahead and check through the databases, they might
Okay,
have
good.
noticed something potentially.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't say yes or no, but maybe. Firm maybe, certainly. Excellent. All right, so we're doing a pretty good job here. Tom, I got to say, it seems like you're making some pretty good, quick work of these lost sectors.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like he's played them before.
Maybe once or twice, potentially? You never know.
I did work on EDZ. It's been a while, though.
So Tom, actually also too is, you know, as you've kind of been helping sort of build a lot of what Into the Light is going to be, you know, what was the role that these weapons played? Like why is Shaxx choosing now to go ahead and re-equip us with this particular set of antiquities?
And part of the idea is that it's like this forbidden arsenal, right? The things that aren't, that we've kind of set aside, at least in the Crucible and other spaces, and now in this kind of dire time with our backs against the wall, we need to, you know, kind of set aside those conventions and you know, really take every advantage we can in the fight against the Witness, and kind of like, you know, having players in this moment, you know, with Into the Light, you know, it's a great time to hop in and play if you haven't been playing, or if you want to catch up, and we're going to give you the weapons you need to be ready for the final shape. Like, as long as you show up every week, you do the work, you're going to get like an incredible arsenal.
Yeah, particularly if you had been like looking at some of the meta heavy grenade launchers.
Yeah.
You can just walk in and get edge transit and like be like competitive already.
Yeah. And also too, I just got word from back at home that also Noah is apparently back at home after last week's stream, in chat cheering everyone on. So if everyone out there wants to give him a quick yeah great in chat, now's the time. He's listening.
I really liked Noah. Noah's a cool dude.
Excellent. Alrighty.
I really like auto-loading hosts around a mountaintop.
Oh yeah.
I think,
I mean,
I
I've got-
feel like
yeah,
he's
I've got
just
a
in
floating
Lost
lion
Sectors for the
party
giggles.
loadout that
Honestly,
obviously
I'm not too sure
hinges
why
pretty
that.
heavily on
I don't know why they're
because
here.
I never want to stop shooting any grenades.
I feel like they're just
I'm one of those.
messing
Sorry,
around.
everyone. We're getting
Also,
for Noah in the
no
chat. All right, let's see it.
exotics at all.
So also too, actually, you know, over the course of
No
developing,
exotic.
this
Yeah, no,
new
it's kind of
structure,
just.
Was there anything about it where you're like, all right, this is?
It's kind of a repeat of
onslaught
last
instead
stream
just
where
right? Like, what was it like
they've
kind of
like
building
explained
this
what
structure
the
before
stream's
you go ahead
about,
just
and now they're
invest
just
in
kind of,
this?
you know.
Yeah. I think when we finally got the loot explosion going, 'cause
Yeah.
there was this whole conversation and how we want it to feel when you open the chest and all this stuff, and all these people working together doing tech stuff to make sure it all worked great and everyone doing their part, and then, you know, finally getting in there and just running through and seeing everything just.
Yeah.
He hasn't
I
used
guess
Midnight
all of
Coup
your
yet
work just,
either.
like flying through the air in space was just really satisfying, and it really felt like it was coming together. I'm also really partial to when we start getting more
Here we go.
icons and world art coming in. The space really started to feel tangible. When Shaxx finally had the guns in his hands in the
Yeah.
and all the hollow Shaxx for a while, they're just like, like this, you know.
Did you guys have that vision of the Hollow Shacks like right away? You were like, this is how we want it to be, or was it just what was the evolution of that space like when you guys were building it?
We got to, it was really fun working with world art and all this stuff. We had a bunch of people in the room, everyone who's dedicated to the space in some capacity, and we were just brainstorming together and laughing and coming up with all these fun ideas. So it was a huge collaborative process, and I think that's what's so magical about working in games, is you get to work with all these people who know all these things that you don't, and make something so cool and awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds okay, but is it
Actually,
me,
also, too, we
or
got one more
does
quick
the
question from chat
reticle,
that
not
caught
the
my
reticle,
eye.
the scope, or whatever,
Is the Master of Arms
look a
as
little
powerful
bit
as before?
higher than
No,
it should
had to
be?
toned down a little bit.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's still very strong. But yeah, that original version is pretty wild.
Kind of in a league of its own, certainly. All right, Tom. So what's your strat right now? Is it basically just Old West gunslinger?
I mean, I haven't had a chance to play with all these guns either. So I'm just
No, I know that this
you
is like
guys
what the
can
stream's
continue your
about,
stream
but
over there. I'm just gonna
again,
play
it's kind of just dragging on now.
with Midnight
I
Coup
feel.
here, which just, it just
I don't know.
feels so snappy and crispy. Like I just gotta
I feel like
point it in the right direction.
they could have
It's
shown
a
the
lot of
social
work.
space,
Explosive
done
rounds and
like
kinetic
one
tremors, is that what it
lost
does?
sector,
Yeah.
or honestly,
Like you can
just
I-
do
you don't even
onslaught.
really need to be that accurate, I guess,
And
with
then,
this role.
you
You
know,
just kind of shoot
call it a
around
day.
enemies.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of dragging on now.
Pretty sure this is still the highest aim assist of any legendary hand cannon in the game too.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
That's what are some roles, by the way? So obviously, I think they each kind of have their different PvP and PvE flavors. But in the PvE trenches, are there any roles in particular with this new kind of set of perks that you were really caught off guard by or surprised by?
I mean, Firefly Kinetic Tremors is really, really strong. I think that was actually the role that Noah was running last week.
Yeah, he was making it look pretty good,
Yeah,
thankfully.
he's smart.
And Noah's all right at the game, as it turns out.
Yeah. What else? I think
Gamers are at
Wolf
peak at
Frontier
complaining these days.
Transit, which is
You know, normally I would agree with you,
Yeah.
but
being able to
I
use,
have
like,
very little sympathy for
drum grenade
Bungie,
launcher. It's
so
really strong.
Yeah.
it's something that
Stage potential is wild.
they just have to fight against.
And also, too, actually, another question from chat.
Obviously,
Double
I'm not
perk
for people,
rolls
like,
on the weapons.
being
Do they
rude
do
or
high-level
insulting,
onslaughts, or
but
is there a chance for them to drop with double perks in each column?
We are only in this position
There is always
because
variants.
Lightfall was bad,
Those are the
and that was not our
action
fault.
variants.
So
Yeah. And also, too, just a
It
quick
is what it
reminder,
is.
The quests from from our site, rather, those ones have a higher
if
chance of giving
Lightfall
you,
didn't
one of
crap the
limited edition
bed,
variants,
we would
or-
be in the final shape right
Those
now.
give you the curated ones, right? The
Yes,
Curated?
those
That's
are the
right,
curated
thank you.
ones. So pretty much that's just a guarantee that you can get them. But anytime you get a brave weapon, there's a chance that it will have the double
Also,
perks and
I am going to
the awesome appeal.
I'm going to mute this, and I'm just going to say that all of these guns are guns that either are attached to expansions or other types of seasons that we've already paid for, and that they sunset. And with Recluse, and with, what was it? Not Mountaintop. Recluse, yeah, Luna's Howl. These are nerfed versions. Like we said, when they announced sunsetting, they took away the guns, they put a new paint job on them, they gave us a nerfed version, and they're giving it back. Granted, it's for free, but, like, I get that this is a free thing, but that doesn't put it above criticism.
We have the experts here, obviously. All right, Tom, where's next on the list? Which lost sector is going to wilt against your powers?
I think I'm gonna go, and I don't know what it's called, but it's on the top of the rocks here, I think, right? That's where it's at? I'm trying to remember.
So you just go ahead and
Also,
throw 'em on
I'm
down.
not
There it is.
complaining
Yeah,
that
there
they're
we go.
doing a lost sector. I'm complaining that this is like the 5th one that they've done now. So I think they can end the stream at this point. They've said everything that they needed
Who could
to.
possibly do that? That's what we have the mountaintop to do, or to use for other.
Which is the same problem with the previous stream, where they gave us the information, but then it just kind of kept...
Wrong way. This is the right way.
So, I don't know.
And actually, also too, so a
That's
lot
just
of
how I see
questions
it.
in chat about the pools of perks that are going to be available, the weapons that are going to be available. You and your team over on the weapons team have also gone ahead and authored a blog that will be hitting Bungie.net tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to list.
I
out
think the
all
information
weapons
of
and,
what we're
all the
getting
perks that can
was
be
great.
given. So,
Yeah.
no mystery
I'm
about
looking forward to the gear.
as of tomorrow.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to
there'll
the
be,
social space.
Plenty of opportunities for all the build crowd
Activity,
to
we'll
go
see.
and Go nuts and kind of imagine
But-
their most exciting opportunities, really. Actually, so also too, we've talked a lot about the Brave Arsenal. Let's go ahead and touch on the parade set again. What was kind of the inspiration behind that set and kind of bringing it forward now? This is kind of like a full circle moment, rather, that I know Tom was mentioning. But why is Shaxx choosing now to equip us with this armor set?
I frankly wasn't as involved in those kind of conversations.
No, it's okay.
It was actually really
Here we go.
fun. Look, beautiful. Kind of waiting to see how we're
I think
gonna
the major
do it.
difference would
We
be
weren't really sure
for
right away which armor
things
set we
like
were getting.
Recluse or
There we go.
Luna's Howl
So excited to see
that
it.
did have those perks
Seeing in the
attached to
Yeah, it
them.
was, I think, honestly, that first
Like
look
those
at them
specific
in
perks,
the,
'cause
in
those
the
are
art,
just nerfed
honestly,
versions.
there was an initial glimpse,
Yeah.
and it's weird because even as good as they looked, they were almost like everyone was just immediately captivated by Onslaught, immediately captivated by is that Blast Furnace in that Warlock's hands? Who knows?
If you're trying to bring back players' favorites, like there is so much nostalgia for that Parade armor set.
Yeah.
Like, bringing that back and updating it a little bit. Like I still run the Parade armor set on my character from
Yeah.
time to time. So
Gotta have that classic look, obviously.
Smog, yeah.
And obviously, getting a chance to go ahead and chase down Super Black doesn't hurt either.
Looks very cool when you break it out of containment. Won't say much.
Excellent. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and take one more quick run through. So is there anything else, actually? So I know we've had a chance to walk through the Brave Arsenal. Tom, in particular on your side, we've gone ahead and kind of gone around the horn over here. Is there anything about this kind of new set of weapons and sort of the role they play in Into the Light that's got you excited about kind of the overall sandbox now that we're going to have available to us?
I'm really excited about a lot of these weapons are they're not god rolls, but they're pretty close to it. Like if you show up every week and you do the weekly quest, you're going to get something that is really pretty powerful, and it's going to be like, for example, just looking at like the Hammerhead here, it's got Rampage and Killing Tally on it. That's just incredible.
That is a good roll.
Yeah, it just never stops firing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you're also increasing damage every time you take an enemy out, which is cool. And I could look at each one of these weapons too, and they like, I think we might have glossed over it earlier, but the Edge Transit with Cascade Point, like you get a kill and then you can dump.
What?
And I think people are going to find a lot of great synergies between these weapons. Like I was even, like Mountaintop.
I don't know why that happened. What the? Is it me or you? What is going on? Why is...
Reloading and then like getting kills with those activates Cascade Point, and I can swap over and dump the mag for Edge Transit, and like I could see similar things with Hammerhead and Forbearance, or with Elsie's Rifle.
Yeah.
And then like there's also just some classic weapons here that I really miss, that I'm really excited for Blast Furnace to be back, and I'm excited to see what it does to the meta with these being like relevant in the power game again, and being something that is accessible to players.
I'm not listen, it's personal preference. I'm not the biggest fan of the new armor.
Proctor, thank you very much for all the hard work.
I think the helmet's cool,
See
but
yours,
I'm not
obviously.
really, I'm much more of an
So
armor
before
guy
we get to the
myself.
point now, we've gone ahead and checked out the rewards. We've checked out the new
Like
social space. We've checked out
feeling
the
like you're
Arsenal.
wearing actual armor.
It's probably about time for us to go ahead and start wrapping things up here.
This is just
Mr.
kinda
Farnsworth, if you
clothing,
get an
you know?
opportunity, feel free to go ahead and rejoin us. Relinquish your hold from the throne world, obviously. This is so fast. Your jump ship was right in orbit, wasn't it?
Right here.
I hear it's lovely this time of year out there in the throne world.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's Noah and Kelsey have been keeping it warm for me in there.
That's true. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and again, we can use some sword logic later to expand it when the time comes. But for right now, we've gone ahead and done our job. Well, for starters, thank you all so much for taking time to join us to talk us through, obviously, the Hall of Champions, talk us through the Brave Arsenal, through everything with Into the Light. It's been a great show. So thank you guys, for starters, for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. And also, too, as a quick reminder, again, to everyone, we'll be back next week, the same Bungie time, same Bungie place, to have another live stream about everything, or some more stuff coming with Destiny 2 Into the Light, including some exotic mission, some exotic mission content, and craftable weapons that'll be available to them. Chat, I saw you mentioning some stuff about that potentially, so come back next week. Also, we'll be going to go ahead and walk through the PvP map pack as well. So if you want to see everything that's going to be coming in those 3 maps, next week will be your time. And there might be a few more additional surprises that we'll have in store for you. Never know. But, and also too, the final thing we're going to go ahead and make sure you close with is, as a quick reminder, of course, with the arrival of the final shape, you'll be able to get 100 more slots in your vault. As you can go ahead and see here on camera, we put it to good use ourselves. We had so much transit rolls. We knew that this was the time place to go ahead and
Dado
start
is
a lot
having
there. So
a
we now have
stroke
those,
looking at
thankfully,
this.
in safekeeping now for the arrival of the witness. Ready. Never hurts. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. We'll see you back here next week at the same Bungie time, same Bungie place. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
Okay. Now, I wasn't really expecting that. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying, Alloy, right? About not being too quick to assume and all that. But there is a opposite side of that where people give criticism and then they immediately get the, oh, but it's free content. Oh, it's whatever. Oh, you're being toxic. This is the reality of it, and I said this before and I'll say it again. This is only a thing because of Lightfall. We should be in the final shape right now, and it is what it is. Bungie is in the hot seat right now. They are in the hot seat. The reason why we're getting this at all, and they're not just letting Season of the Wish continue for the next 2 months, is because they know the community is not in a good place right now. That raises expectations. People are already in a bad mood. So it's one thing to say that, oh, everybody's going to complain it, like everybody's just complaining and that's all they do. This is the lowest community sentiment we've ever had. Of course people are not going to be happy, and of course people will notice something that's not good. Onslaught. Is Onslaught a cool concept? Yes. But Midtown. People aren't happy that it's Midtown. They have every right to point that out. 100%. And if the other maps for Onslaught are PvP maps, they have every right to point that out and not be impressed. It's new social space. People really wanted the old tower. I wanted the old tower. We get the back rooms and the closet. Now, I'm actually okay with that, personally. I don't really mind. But if somebody says, dude, I really wanted the old tower and I'm disappointed by this, I'm going to say, fair enough. That's fine. If people see that we're getting Recluse and Luna's Howl, and they have nerfed versions of their perks, and they're like, dude, like, what is this? I'm going to say, yeah, I know what you mean. Fair enough. If people are going to be upset, they're going to say, listen, like, take me, for example, right? Like, I have only just been recently able to craft the Forbearance rocket launcher. And now they've just basically made a better version of it that I'm probably going to have to go and get. And the same thing for anybody who really grinded to craft a God Roll Succession. You know, it's like, oh, dang, well, I guess that doesn't really mean anything anymore. If you're going to, you know, point that out and be upset by that, I think that you have every right to. And, you know, as for these exotic missions, if there's weapon crafting attached to that, I'm assuming that that includes, hopefully, another pool of weapons. That's great. I'm all for that. But if there's somebody who says, yes, well, they shouldn't have vaulted this content to begin with, I'm going to say that you are right. I will always maintain this. We should not let ourselves turn into a community who is fine with Bungie taking all the content away in whatever, and then praising them for giving it back to us, especially if there's a price tag attached. Now, this is for free, and I'm happy with that. That's great. But how many times in previous seasons have we paid for gear that is reskinned sunset weapons? Season of the Deep is a perfect example of that. So, as much as I am all for not jumping down Bungie's throat until we've seen all 3 streams, we have every right to be somewhat more critical, I guess you could say. And certainly, we have every right to voice our opinion if there is something that we're not happy with. I think there are people who want the game to be good. I think most people want the game to be good. But there are people who have different standards of what will make them happy than others. And that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, this isn't those people attacking the poor little indie company Bungie. These are people who have had to go through probably all the stuff that's happened from, you know, Destiny 2 having a dead end game with double primaries, then having sunsetting and having content vaulted, and, you know, all the other stuff that's happened. And so now they're burned. They've had Lightfall, you know, all that. And so they're like, yeah, okay, cool. I get it. The gear looks sick. The gear looks fun. Onslaught looks fun. But it's in a reskinned PvP map. And these are weapons that you took away from me, and in some cases they have weaker perks. I think if you want to just be like, yeah, dude, this is amazing, 10 out of 10, that's fine. And if you want to point that out, I think that's fine. But I think if you are one of the people who is absolutely loving this, I do not believe you have any right to point to the people who are not happy and label them as X, Y, or Z. Now, for the people who were saying like racist things, the friend request spammers, the people who are being genuinely rude, they are not even part of the equation. Because the way that I see it, when you act like that, you lose your right to access that platform of discussion. When you act like an animal, you deserve to be treated like an animal. And if you're going to be racist and you're going to insult people and you're going to send death threats, you don't deserve to have a voice in this platform. So when you say to people who make a valid criticism, say about the sunset weapons returning or about the PvP maps being reused, we don't even include, that's not even considering the very extreme people that are being rude. But to, you know, if somebody is talking about the sunset weapons or the Midtown coming back or having the social space not be the tower but the back rooms, and to be, oh, toxic player base, Bungie's doing their best and the player base just will never, you can't win, guys. Bungie, they're doing their best, but they'll never. I don't know really what to say. Both sides are allowed to give their opinions, but I don't think you're allowed to, or you have the right to automatically, completely disregard anybody who isn't, uber hyped by it. But it is what it is. That's just my thoughts on that. Zero Hour and Whisper. Did they specifically say 0 Hour and Whisper, or is that just... I mean, I'm assuming that is what they're talking about. Obviously, I would love new missions made for whatever. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, I thought the stream was overall pretty good. Easily better than the previous one. I just think it dragged on at the end, going into the 5 or 6 lost sectors. But I thought the stream itself was good. I think the gear looks great. I think the social space is fine. And I am definitely going to be going after them. I don't care about all the weapons. I don't care about the grenade launcher. I don't know if I care about the falling guillotine as much. But Midnight Coup, Luna's Howl, what other one? Blast Furnace and Hammerhead. Oh my goodness. Blast Furnace and Hammerhead. Those two, I need them. Get in. Do I care about the shader? But I know for some people it's a big deal. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I was meeting the people saying that it will flop and it's only for quick bucks. About the details of the mode and saying that it could be different. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just you need to be very clear in separating that, because yes, there are people who want the game to fail because they're burned or they're salty or just whatever. And then there are people who want the game to be good, but they have a very low tolerance for Bungie shortcuts. Just call it that. The 1 hour felt like a drag, for sure. It's nice on some weapons, but Bungie's a lot of pressure and they need to gather. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's 100% a W update. 100%. And I think, especially with the stuff added in from next week's stream, I think you're looking at a pretty enjoyable experience. And remember, this is something that's just to hold us over for 2 months. I think that, you know, the way I look at it, you have Into the Light to play. You're going to have Solstice probably to play. You're going to have anything that you haven't finished from freaking Season of the Wish and the previous seasons if you wanted to craft. If you want to play the game and you haven't absolutely maxed out everything, I would say that there's a lot that you can do right now in the game. The only thing that would be missing is like story stuff, but we can wait 2 months. That's fine. Absolutely no reason this needs to be 3 live streams long. I agree with you, Tristan. I still maintain that it doesn't need to be 3 live streams. They could have shown the weapons, and they could have shown Onslaught, and then leave Onslaught, go to the social space, woohoo, and then maybe in another stream do the whatever. Yes, we shouldn't be carelessly toxic. There is no way that you can be actually toxic and no, I've already made my point clear about that. I recall them talking about bringing back the old planets, yet we're going to be in a way that was going to be impactful, yet that was, I don't know. Keep watching the stream for drops on Twitch. I did get the drops. I'm pretty sure I got the drops. Let me check. I did get something. I did. Yes, I got the drop. It is mine. It is a good update. Clearly a lot of work and passion went into it. Oh no, I definitely think that there's been passion put into it, for sure. I really do. I think that them designing the weapons the way that they have, and yeah, I think they do. Listen, they care about this game, man. They do. They really do. And I do not think that the people who are actually making the game are just lazy or whatever. These are people that really care about what they do. And I think if you ever have a complaint, yes, we use the word Bungie. It's like, oh, Bungie did this, oh, Bungie did that, oh, Bungie why. We use the word Bungie, but we're never, and we should never be talking about the people sitting behind the desks, working long hours to make things. Because that is not where the fault is. It usually never is where the fault is. Looking at the jump from the D1 April update, that was supposed to last, what, 6 months to this? It is a whole, yes, for sure, dude. Whisper might be next week. Whisper might be next week. Brad, you want to join the thingy? I didn't see you were messaging me. I am going to actually get food because I haven't had really anything to eat today, and I am starving. But yeah, no, I can talk to you when I get back, Brad. But I am probably going to end the stream because I am very hungry. I need to get food and other things. But yeah, just to give you guys an update as well as on what I'm working on. I'll kind of give you a bit of a kind of behind the scenes update. There's a few videos that I still really want to make, and I actually think that the next one I will make is going to be how the Witnesses race can potentially come back. And if you've been watching my videos, you're kind of know where I'm going with this, but I'm actually going to combine and kind of update two different videos I've made. And it's going to be the one video that goes into the Cenotaph lore, and then also the other video about the Veil Theory Part 2. And I'm going to kind of, combine the information to present, in my opinion, the definitive best way that the race can come back and it making sense. That's one video I want to do. I kind of went on a bit of a rant earlier talking about what people actually want from the final shape when they say that they hope it's good. That's its own video that I want to make as well. And what was there? There was another thingy I think that I wanted to... Whenever I finish this season's story, I'll probably make... Well, I'll probably just stream it and I'll talk on that. But yeah, no, those are two videos anyway that I am going to be working on. And I had... No, it's actually, I wrote the notes in my copybook, never mind. But anyway. That is that. Do you think that we will still get the tower in the final shape? I hope so, Hakon. I hope so. What all did they say about next week? Next week is going to be exotic missions as well as craftable weapons, I think, attached to that. I think they mentioned PvP stuff as well. And other potential surprises. No way we get the pyramid race in game. I am sorry. I refuse to accept the argument that we can't handle a race in the game. I refuse to accept that. We need a race in the game. If they can give us tormentors and they can give us subjugators, we can get a race in the game. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Maybe a small remnant of the pyramid people. Oh no, like I'm not talking about like every single person. I just mean like as an enemy faction in the game. Especially at least for the Pale Heart. At least for the Pale Heart. I still want pyramid art. Me too. Me too. If Whisper comes in next week, then we're gonna get IO. Just not. Unless, so here's the issue with that, Jay, is that the Whisper mission is self-contained in an area that you access through a portal, meaning they don't have to give us IO, they can just have a portal that leads to it. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, Joe did say that. 2 raids in pyramids, yet no armor. That seems to... Yep. Dude, the Root of Nightmares armor, half of it looks pyramid and looks cool. And then the other half of it in Root of Nightmares is clownfish. So that's why I don't wear it. But anyway, guys, I really need food. I am very hungry. But that was a fun stream. That was better than last week, and it does have me excited. And this would be something that would make me want to get friends who quit the game back in. And I do think that if I showed this to people, they would be like, dang, I actually want to do that. So, I mean, yeah. It's so frustrating when you want the game to do good, but it just isn't. This game has so much untapped potential. Miss Hilton, there has never been a truer true ever trued in the history of truths. I do love the raw armor though. Yeah, I just the clownfish Nemo, and the spider people, the pyramid, that would be cool. But anyway, yeah, I am gonna head off. I'm gonna get some food, and yeah, I'm gonna start probably working on the next video at some point, and yeah, my friend will probably want to get back in when I tell them about. Yes, true. Yes. Yep. And oh, I will say this. I will say, no, I won't say it. I won't say it. I am excited for the final shape, though. I am excited. The winds have changed. I am excited. But when the final shape comes out, depending on how things go, I might touch on some other stuff. But yeah. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week. You have a great day. If that one guy comes back, I hope his doctor appointment went well. And yeah. Also, I didn't get the skimmer, man. I didn't get it. I don't know how many times I go through Nightfalls and I didn't get the 10%. And, you know, it's like, oh, well, just, dude, just log in on your Warlock and pledge the thingy and then get the... I have something called integrity. Now, maybe some of you, maybe this is a new concept, but I am a hunter. And I am not putting on the skirt to get a snowboard that floats, okay? I will pledge to the hunters every single time. And if we win, we win. And if we lose, it's rigged. So that's not a viable way. And then what was the other one? Do like 2,000 medallion points? Do I want to grind 2,000 medallion points? I do not. I do not. So I go into the Nightfall. I do my dance. I finish the champion. And I hope for the best. And every time, Bungie spits on my aspirations. So, and then it was 5 minutes. 5 minutes from reset today. And I'm in the tower. And I think to myself, there's no way that I'm getting this skimmer. It is done. It is finished. It has transpired. It is over. And I get a thought. It is a wicked thought. It is an evil, malicious, scandalous little utterance that happens in the deep recesses of my mind. And it says, there is another option. And then I realize and I say, no, it's not possible. It cannot be. There is another option. There is a second skimmer. No, I can't do it. No, never. I have 5 minutes. I open up the store and I look at the other option. That shortcut. The easy way out. But I am a man of integrity, so I close the store, I Alt F4, and I accept my fate. So for all of you, I hope you enjoy your skimmers, and maybe I'll get one later.